So for the educational portion, we're going to talk about the 7 elements of influence in sales. But we're going to talk about the conclusions of our networking group here. Elite is a business and professional networking organization that allows one representative from each profession to join. And that comes from number 2, scarcity, by the elements. Now, the 7 elements comes from actually myself, really, and a book by Robert Cialdini called 6 Elements of Influence. And you will see this everywhere. But the thing about this is that all of these items can be used in many different ways. And one extreme is real cheesy, very manipulative, exploitive ways to use these techniques. And then there's the elegant, professional, deep way to use these techniques. So you can go, like most choices in life, you can take the easy way out or you can do things the right way. Salesmen think short-term, businessmen think long-term. So, first one is credibility. So part of the process we're using in this group is, first you make yourself visible. Then after you make yourself visible, you make yourself credible. And credibility takes a long part of it to be truly credible. And what's credible to one person is not credible to another person. Like, what makes Kim Kardashian credible? That she sells and makes millions of dollars. What would it be? Her looks, right? Maybe that she can attract popular, wealthy African-American entertainers and athletes. So women are like, oh, I want the makeup she's wearing, right? That makes her credible. So it just depends on the individual what you feel is credible. But I think for this group, to be able to recruit for this group, is that we all have valuable networks that we can leverage to create value for everybody involved. But for us to do that, we have to be the other side of it, of credibility. Having a long-term approach and being able to deliver. And being able to have differentiation. For example, Brent, how long have you been doing insurance?
8 years.
He's been doing it for 8 years. So Brent, his differentiation is that he's been able to build a business and get return customers because he's been able to deliver. And since he's been in his profession longer than most people, he has a depth of knowledge. And more experienced providers provide a better result per Harvard business. Study after study done. So credibility is one of the main issues in being able, in any marketing that one does, and being able to influence people is credibility. For me, I try to base all my conversations on my education and experience. So I have an MBA. I actually have 2 master's degrees, one in business science and one in marketing. And then being able to own my own business for 3 years and being 10 years in the industry. So my conversations and the way I try to build credibility is that what I speak of is within the scope of my education and what I'm good at and my experience. I try to keep it limited to that. That's how I try to build credibility. But then credibility also is the way you dress, the way you portray to yourself. And then, like the Kim Kardashian example, everybody has their own criteria of credibility. So you have to find out what your customer's criteria of credibility is to be able to communicate a very tailored and structured message to them. The second one is scarcity. In scarcity, the cheesy way people use scarcity is you get that in emails every day. Hey, there's only 3 days left, for this seminar. Or you're at a seminar and they say, hey, usually we charge $1,400 for the seminar, but you're here with me today and you can join the seminar for $25. You leave here and it's $1,400, right? They're a manipulative way of using scarcity. Here in the group, we allow one representative from each profession to join. So we have scarcity as far as that's concerned. But again, all of these elements are elements to really deeply study and then add to your scope of business, hopefully, I would say, in a more sophisticated, responsible way. But that's the cheesy way people use scarcity, just from, explaining it. For me, I mean, scarcity is, for Brent as well, is that we've been in our professions for so long that other folks in our professions do not have the same level of experience that we do. So we provide value that way. Yeah, go ahead. It's interactive.
So it's almost like the scarcity model is almost like the value being created because of lack of the others, so to speak.
Right.
So.
Exactly. And differentiation, if somebody comes to me, they're going to have a better experience than if they went to someone else. Now, scarcity, another side of it, is completely opposite of what we believe in this group. And having an abundance mentality and having a belief in karma, of giving people a really good experience. Now, for me, going against scarcity are people who have different carriers, because I focus on business clients and I focus on Verizon and AT&T business. I can't do AT&T personal. So when I engage individuals, I find out what their needs are and give them the best solution. 50% of the time, that solution is not going to make me any money. But because I'm honest and I have an abundance mindset, people will refer their friends to me because they want their friends to have that same experience. They want, hey, this guy was honest, he was knowledgeable, he knows what he's talking about. Go talk to him. And that has led to hundreds of referrals and profitable relationships. So it's kind of the opposite of scarcity. By having an abundance mindset, it has helped me from using it as a business strategy. So scarcity is another element of influence that can be used for good or evil. But I think it's a very powerful element and something to study. Number 3 is social proof. Celebrity endorsements, right? Kim Kardashian uses this lipstick, so it gives it social proof. Name dropping, right? People that name drop, that they were at this event or that event, or I know so-and-so. That's social proof. 4 out of 5 dentists believe that this, Sometimes it's a false appearance to authority. I think my wife and I believe that. Whenever we hear somebody name dropping, or I was hanging out with celebrities, or this and that, we feel that one of the fallacies in thought that they teach in school and logic is false appeal to authority. And I think about that. And there's a part in the Bible where these people came to the Apostle Paul, and they were saying, hey, we knew Jesus, and we knew the Apostle Paul, and they were talking to the Apostle Paul. And the Apostle Paul was like, well, I know Paul, it was him. And I know who Jesus are, but who are you? So social proof can be used in a negative connotation. So but you have to have that element within your business. So I think a very important part of business is having testimonials, creating a really good experience for your customers, and have that experience be so good that they want others to share in that experience, and will write an honest testimonial letter just because of evidence, right? And going back to credibility. You want to make yourself visible, and then you want to make yourself credible so you can become profitable. And part of that explaining credibility is having evidence. The last educational moment we had, 33% of people are skeptics 33% of people are followers, and 11% are skeptics. So that's 44% of people making decisions, buying decisions out there. For these people, it's very effective to have social proof and evidence, proof of the value you provide. So it's important to have on your website or have in your office testimonials, people who can vouch for you, right? It's the whole mafia thing, you can't get made unless somebody vouches for you. So that you need social proof, as an element of influence in business. Number 4 is authority. And I always think about my sister, because my sister's a preacher, and she always made the point about authority in traffic. If a police officer's in traffic saying stop, he has a uniform, the badge, you believe him. But if there's a guy in a white t-shirt, right, in shorts in the middle of the interstate saying stop, you're just going to go because he doesn't have that authority, right? And I guess licenses, Brent can sell insurance because he has a license to do so. He has the authority to give you auto policy, life policy, whatever. You have that authority. So that's an element of influence. Making sure people know the authority you have to be able to deliver. Because part of credibility is delivering. Because once you become profitable, here we have the long-term approach, right? Salesman thinks short-term, businessman thinks long-term. So the businessman long-term approach is being able to deliver what we say there, elegant service, and deliver so well that people want to promote your business. That's the goal of here. It's not just profitability, but the repetition part of it, and being able to consistently provide that and have authority. For me, the way I do authority is, I have an MBA. I have 2 kinds of MBAs in the long term of my business and how long I've been there. But it's always a challenge to be able to communicate that authority, to be able to execute each level of influence. The 5th one is reciprocity, right? And the important part of business that I've noticed is organized reciprocity with a business element. And here, the reciprocity that we practice is organic, holistic reciprocity, where it isn't forced. Like I know other networking groups, it's tick for tack. Oh, I gave you a referral, I gave you this business, then you owe me something. And that's always, even on a personal level, rough, made me feel bad, because if somebody doesn't deliver, you can't refer them, even though they might have given you a referral for $1 million. You cannot reciprocate because it's bad business. And you're not being honest to your client. So that's why we get to know each other. That's why we give each other feedback. We're like the Marines here. So there's a fallen shoulder. We pick them up and we take them with us. And you explain to that person, this is why I can't refer you. And if you follow these steps, we can go ahead and help you. But otherwise, we can't. And that's an important thing to think about, reciprocity. The other element of reciprocity, if somebody does something nice to you, the natural element in most people is to reciprocate. But, when I used to live in the hood and some people who are ghetto, it's not like that. You do something nice for them and they don't care. You'll never see them again. So you have to be very judicious who you do something nice to, or whether they understand your niceness, right? Not confuse niceness with weakness. But reciprocity is a very, very important element. The cheesy way they do reciprocity now is, buy my free book. Click here, give me your email, and I'll send you a free book, which is another sales pitch. But they're using the psychological elements of reciprocity. But this is an element, simple as leaving chocolates on your desk, as far as reciprocity. I guess reciprocity is used a lot in the corporate world for brown nosing, right? Brown nosing is all about reciprocity. So reciprocity, there's an elegant, good way to use reciprocity And then, you know, there's a cheesy way to use it, but you see it pretty much in every element out there. Number 6 is relationship consistency. What this means is that you are the same way the first time somebody meets you, the 5th time somebody meets you, and the 10th time somebody meets you. If you are all over the place, then you lose credibility. For websites and marketing, they say, you know, on your business card, have the same picture on your website that you have on your business card, because it creates that consistency. But the way I've seen it in my life is some people are just totally different in different places you meet them, or after they've gained credibility with you, and now they're profitable with you, then they change totally personality. They were totally different before the sale than what they were after the sale, which is a bad long-term approach, because then you don't feel like reciprocating or, you know, promoting their business.
So it's character, maintaining it.
Exactly.
Being authentic.
Right, being authentic. But then again, it's different for different people. So it really depends on your target market, what your goals are, and who you are, right? But in general, relationship consistency is an element of influence, especially after the sale, for the long-term value of a client, right? Because a client's more valuable the longer they're with you and the more people they refer. So from a business element, you want to keep the long-term value of a client high. So therefore, you want to keep the personality and relationship consistent as an element of influence. And then number 7, this one is, you know, the old 80-20 rule, 20% of something equals 80% of something else. I think this is the one here, you know, the 4-hour work week, that philosophy type of likability. And then likability is the hardest one, because, again, the Kim Kardashian example, likability is all over the place, you know, and it's just depending on the end user. You never know. Some people, you know, they make decisions of you within 4 seconds. So they'll totally write you off just because, you know, hey, you're not my religion. Boom, you're gone. Hey, you're not, oh, I don't deal with that race. I don't deal with that gender. So you're done. So likability, it's all over the place, and you just have to gauge it right away. Kind of find out what's going on as far as likability, and find out what the customer or client's likability criteria is, you know. And I guess the main thing always is follow the fundamentals as far as likability. Never talk about religion or politics in public. You know, that's the number one way to get the likability down there, and you'll have no way to influence that other person. So I guess, you know, in each client engagement, all these elements followed deeply creates a lot of business. I know the one networking group I was involved with, and then my mom, really based a lot of the business on reciprocity. You know, I used to give away, you know, free plantains at my business to create that reciprocity. You know, and it really does work. If you give somebody value and you give something for free, most people will reciprocate, and then that helps with creating credibility and scarcity. Because a lot of people have a scarcity mindset, and they're not giving value and things for free. So it makes you a scarce product because you're giving them a lot of value. And I think using all these elements together, I think they're a powerful force to make them part of your business plan and as you write out your value proposition.
Excellent.
Yeah, so scarcity meaning make